Hello, everyone. Welcome to another presentation of Mars Revealers, Mars Anomalies, and Archaeology. And we got a cool presentation for you all today as we're going to be dealing with the pyramids of Mars. Down in a hole. Indeed, down in a hole. More ways than one, or a hole in one, depending how you look at it. Now, of course, not too many people often see or hear claimed of pyramids being inside of craters. Now, this is a fascinating subject, and the reality of what there are of pyramids and craters on Mars. And, it's pretty interesting because, there are scientific explanations that have been out since the 50s, many with cheesy animation videos, but some get better over the years. And that try to claim about what we're actually seeing here is not a pyramid in a crater, but an impact crater uplift. From the impact, think of it like a drop of water or anything hitting the water and goes down, and you see all the ripples rippling out, and then you see this plume jettisoning up from the surface of the impact and then going back in, and therefore it would leave an uplift. Now, like a hill-like feature or some other type of chaotic risen material or whatnot. But the problem is they're few and far between, okay? And none of them look like pyramids, okay? They don't have geometry to them as it was. Now, this is a pretty incredible feature. As you can see here, that just doesn't look like a random hill, does it? But we'll get into that. So, it's pretty interesting because when people think of craters, they think of this one here in Arizona called Meteor Crater. Very interesting. Yeah, very huge, by, standards of what we're used to seeing of craters or whatnot, but not as huge really as what like we see on the moon or some other places on Earth. But this one's pretty pristine, especially for its size. It's still sizable indeed. So as you can see, there's a road leading up to a property, whatnot, with a residence or buildings or whatnot living there at the edge of the crater. Okay, so it's fairly big. Interesting scene, huh? There's another view. Now, it's rather interesting because that crater, as big as it is, it's not even a mile wide. That's the thing, all right? And the ones we see on the moon and on Mars are far, far larger, and we have a bunch of small ones too, like comparable to this size as well as smaller, but many of them are much larger. So this one is about 3/4 of a mile, all right? Its depth is 560 feet, and the crater rim, the crater rim is 148 feet. So that's still pretty, sizable. Interesting, right? Now, this supposedly happened about 50,000 years ago. So let's get into this. This is a Google Earth, Google Mars image view. Again, don't you just love NASA, how they present these images to the public? But what I like about it is you can see its geometry fairly well. Okay, you can make out the, as it was, the X shape. You can see that obviously has some form of geometry. It's not just a risen, rounded hill. Though this is roundish, but it also has geometry to it to where, if this was just a natural uplift or a hill, it would not be throwing off what appear to be pyramidal geometric sides. Okay, that's really interesting in itself. Now, again, when we consider the Arizona Meteor Crater, Again, this one's much larger, but let's look at this one image view from Mars Odyssey. I think we got two or three of one from Mars Odyssey. And if you notice my voice is slipping up a little, it's because I'm hearing a double echo of myself. So slightly. So I got to try to fix that issue. This ain't perfect, but it's going to get better over time. So as you can still see, the geometry of the pyramid there in the middle, down in a hole as it was. There's another Mars Odyssey image. Very interesting. And there's another one. So again, in all the images that we've seen so far from Mars Odyssey and whatnot, we can see the geometry to it as it was, right? So this one's from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, I believe, or is it Mars Express? This may be the Mars Express image of it. Let's look at it. Let's zoom in a little more. Look around. All right. There's another Mars Express image. Let me make sure. Yep. You can tell the shading in two different spots. Look at that. You can still make out its geometric sides. I love that view. This is a Mars Express color image view. Look at all those pretty colors and stuff. You got your purples, pinks. And again, you know, you got these hues that really makes this thing and makes you wonder how much metal is actually on and in that surface. Because a lot of it looks metallic, in my opinion. You know, and it's really interesting how this thing's set up. But again, when we consider the huge size of that three-quarter mile wide Arizona meteor crater, again, this one, again, it dwarfs that one, right? So this is the pyramid itself. Again, no surprise to us Mars anomalies and armchair archaeologists out here studying the structures on Mars and the pyramids of Mars. Its size, its dimensions of the pyramid alone is 3.5 miles from corner to corner. As you can see, that's, again, pretty damn huge. So that meteor crater, what would it be, like this? This would be meteor crater right here at the top if we would have put a little circle there, or around that range, right? Because the pyramid itself is 3.5 miles. So, let's go next one. And from edge to edge of the crater itself is 11.5 miles. 11.55. So, you know, it's pretty huge. And, you know, again, can't even compare to the meteor crater in Arizona. And again, this is nothing as huge as this is. There's many larger and deeper craters on Mars, and many that are not as large or as deep. But there are many all over the surface. So it's really interesting to study these craters at times, you know. But there's a Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter context image view. And it's going to be this image of what, you know, and you'll know what I'm like to do. Since this is your place for alien archaeology, we like to get bird's eye views as well as, you know, spiraling around as if we're flying from the ground level up and around it and higher to get glimpses of how this would look in 3D. Because anyone could look down at a two-dimensional image and all we're seeing is 2D. We have to guess and use our intelligence and imagination to some type of degree to get a concept of what this thing would look like in 3D. But there's an example. It's not perfectly drawn out, but there's the main geometry that most people, I and most other people would see. But again, there's more to it than this because, again, it's rounded. It's like a conical pyramid fused with various geometries. Now, crater uplifts, impact crater uplifts, do not have these characteristics, and especially when there's more than one form of geometry about it. So, as you can see, again, it's not perfect, but it's to get the general idea of what I'm trying to present here, of what this thing has to offer, right? So there's another view. Again, there goes his conical aspect to it. Now that is interesting in itself because a lot of these features of Mars is more than one or even two signs of intelligent life and showing in their geometry. And you have to really be studying this so-called pyramid down in a hole crater and other craters to see, is it natural? Is there some type of intelligent designing to any of them or any indication of a fingerprint of intelligence left upon it? And again, it's by its geometry. Could this just be a coincidence? I don't think so, but let's look so we could get a glimpse. I'll go back and forth here and just keep looking at it. So I'll do it several times. Very interesting. Has a hexagonal geometry outside of this conical geometric pyramid. Again, on the inside of this crater. That must have been some meteorite. Pretty smart. Now, for everyone else that wants to know, where can they find this? Whatnot. There's the coordinates right there. So, there you go. Go have fun. And the reason why I show the coordinates in these presentations is for you to get it and learn how to go find these locations yourself, and you learn the coordinate system. It's almost like knowing how to read a map. If you have coordinates, there's the coordinates. Go have fun, and you'll be surprised where this is located. That's all I'm gonna say. And so again, 11.5 miles wide, 3.5 mile wide pyramid. It's pretty damn huge. And again, as far as Martian pyramids and structures go, it also adds to the preponderance of evidence of intelligent design, also because of its consistency of the sizes of the various type of Martian pyramids we have found already, and which I've already presented in several presentations of Mars Revealers, Mars Anomalies, and Archaeology. So, that being said, hopefully you all enjoy this, and please like and subscribe. Please leave any comments or questions. Do you think this is natural, or do you agree with me that this shows signs of intelligent design, of signs of possible past life? Indeed, in my opinion, 100% yes. Okay, again, for examples of which I've shown here, how many coincidences does it take until something's not a coincidence anymore, But again, please like and subscribe, as this is your destination for alien archaeology. I gotta fix that sound. So that being said, everyone, until next time, peace.